streets paved
Yes.
before they cut it off the end of October?
Yeah, we have a surplus of money left. And, so, yeah, we can add a couple more roads to that. So,
And thank you.
You're welcome.
One more thing to report. We are currently working on the budget for next year and working with the department heads and trying to get everybody involved. We're working on the millage rate, and just to let the council know, we may end up having to have a special call meeting for either budget hearings or millage, and I'm going to get with you on that too. So, but we need to get that taken care of. Probably we can by the next meeting, but just make sure we have it. Everybody's able to attend. Okay. Public comments. Okay, we have a new policy. You don't have to state your name or your address. Just come up to the mic and you have 3 minutes to speak.
So I don't need to tell you my name now.
No, unless you want to.
My name's Mike Painter. I think everybody knows who I am. Pet peeve of mine, down at Ledger's,
General ledger?
at the restaurant down here.
Okay.
As you're coming, what's that, Depot through here?
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 or 4 vehicles every day parked there that are too long. They're too large. If I'm driving and I have to physically pull my car left over the yellow line and I hit somebody, it's my fault. But the city's allowing, and it's the same cars that are parked there. I don't know if it's people that are working with the train or if people's working at the restaurant, but they're there every morning at 9 o'clock. And if you're allowing people to park vehicles too large in a position and people are having to pull across the yellow line, I think that's a liability to the city.
Chief Sturt, can you check on that tomorrow? Just kind of drive by.
Is it Depot Street? Depot Street, yeah. Green parking places probably ought to be deleted. We've discussed that. I think we're going to try to put a fog line in there. That will make it more apparent if you're blocking the lane of traffic. Same as West Main, we've done that fog line there, and it's easier to write citation if you fit the box if you don't. So I think the way from striping, we not discuss that.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Good evening, City Council members and Madam Mayor Haight. Thank you for not interrupting my public comments this evening. During the May 21st meeting, yourself and council shut down my First Amendment right because I wouldn't give my name and address. But thankfully, by the July 16th meeting, you had allegedly educated yourself by taking a First Amendment class. You know we teach that to school children, right? Now to exercise that God-given right that you care so much about. The multiple lawsuits you and Davey are bringing against your employer and coworkers are retarded. If y'all win your lawsuits, your lawyers are reimbursed for all court costs. The taxpayers have already paid for all the defense lawyers. Blue Ridge has to change the charter and have an emergency election to fill 3 new council member seats. On the other hand, if y'all lose the lawsuits, you have to pay for your own lawyers out of pocket like you have been doing this whole time. The taxpayers have already paid for all the defense lawyers, so that money has gone either way. It's currently over $70,000 just straight to the lawyers. The taxpayers only benefit if you fail with these multiple lawsuits. Now on to you. If you can't take less than 3 minutes of public criticism once a month, then you should step down. If you are tired of our mouths, then you should stop taking local, state, and federal tax money from us. We are tired of paying taxes. Any and everyone can get up here and let their voices be heard, but it really chills free speech when an elected official tells a taxpayer that she's tired of his mouth. Are we allowed to have a negative criticism or say bad things about the government when it does bad things? Or are we forced to only say good and positive things? I completely disagree with Mr. Martinez's statement about the van Madam Mayor Haight unanimously bought for $25,000 taxpayer dollars that has gathered dust ever since. But he has every right in the greatest country on the planet to come up here and redress his grievances to his government. This is the United States of America, if y'all forgot. The roof, walls, lights, that fancy desk, your paychecks, this barely audible recording, the entire city of Blue Ridge is funded by our taxpayer money. Too often the government forgets that. And one last thing. I would like to present you with an award, Madam Mayor Haight. This is an award for the largest amount of taxpayer dollars squandered by a single employee.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay, next.
Hello. Ooh, that's loud. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote and general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States, something that I think that Angie Arp does not understand. When she's tired of people's mouths, resign. If you're tired of someone's mouth, you don't need to be sitting up there. You need to take your butt out that door and let somebody else sit up there. We can say what we want when we want to say it, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. There's nothing any of y'all are going to do about it. As long as I'm not making any threats to anybody, not inciting any violence to anyone, I can stand up here for 3 minutes and say whatever I want. You're horrible. That's just garbage. Do you know what the last gentleman that spoke said? Y'all had a First Amendment class or a constitutional class. Do you even know what's guaranteed to everybody? Not a privilege. What is guaranteed to everybody sitting out here? Do you know what that is? Freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, free to redress your freaking government, and peacefully assemble to protest. So when you say you're tired of people's mouths, that's going to stop. That's going to stop right now. And you're going to sit there and you're going to take people's criticism towards their government. That's what you're going to do. It stops. No more. If you don't like it, resign. And I'm just hearing stuff about these lawsuits. That should piss everybody off in here. Fighting, because council, mayor, people fighting like school children. I want this, I want that. The charter said, the hell with that. You got all these people out here. Y'all are here to serve them. Y'all are here for them, not to battle with each other, not to be, if you're tired of them, resign, let somebody else come up there and sit down. Maybe they can take 3 minutes of criticism towards their government. You know, maybe they can do that. Who knows? That really, and I'm sure some of y'all may not. I'm Russell with Georgia Transparency. If y'all didn't know, I'm sure some of y'all may know. But it's going to stop. It quits. The last meeting I saw that got my blood boiling. That for you to sit there and tell a taxpayer, a voter, a citizen, you're tired of their free speech. How dare you? You are a horrible piece of trash. I hope you really do better. I hope you can do better. I think you can. I have hope, I have faith in you that I think you can do that.
Okay, would anyone do you need more time?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you. Do better.
Okay, is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Okay. Oh, yes, please.
Thank you for letting me speak, Mayor, and
Can you speak into the mic? I'm sorry.
I'm afraid it'll feed back, but I'll try. If I start beeping or buzzing, just let me know. I think it's really important, and I agree 100% with what everybody said about free speech. We do have a right to express our concerns when we feel like a wrong has been committed. I will possibly disagree with one thing, and that is I don't know if you deserve the award for the most money misspent, let's say. Recently, well, not just us, we've come before the board and ask for variances. I've seen people come in and ask for rezoning requests and things like that. And, you know, I was at a meeting where the height of the buildings were discussed when it was coming from 45 feet. And I felt pretty good when I left that it was gonna go to 35. I thought, well, that's a compromise. Some people wanted 30, most everybody seemed good with 35. And then lo and behold, when it came up for a vote, it came to 30. And I was like, where did that even come from? I thought this was already over. And most people that know me know that I'm a big proponent of getting housing where normal people can live here, work here, support our economy, and go to school. And then lo and behold, there were taped conversations that appeared on the city website that said, well, the reason we went down to 30 is because the person that owned the most property in R3 wanted 35. So we wanted to screw her a little bit more and just tighten up the screws and go to 30. I'm not a resident of Blue Ridge, but I think this affects us all, is do you make zoning decisions based on grievances? Because that one change cost everybody that owned property in R3, it devalued their land just a little bit more. So if this is true, I don't know if it's true. I mean, it could be AI generated or it could be whatever. But I have to hear what I hear because that's what I heard on the tape. And I think people do deserve to know the process that happens when these big, vast, sweeping changes are made that affects people's property value. Thank you.
Your time's up, thank you. Okay, would anyone else like to speak? Okay.
I don't mind giving my name. It's Donna Thompson. Most people may know me. I'm going to start with the meeting policy as it relates to a comment Mr. Bivens made tonight on changing his vote. I understand sometimes there's a lot of information to try to comprehend that comes through on an agenda packet, but I would remind you that your meeting policy, which all of you wrote and agreed to, you developed it yourselves, and it was developed at your very first meeting you voted on. Your meeting policy actually says that you should be prepared for meetings, read and study materials. So that burden falls on your shoulders, each one of you. And when you come into meetings, it's evident. You know, I understand trying to get clarification, but you do have time before meetings to get clarification on things. I think probably a lot of you miss Eric Soroka because Eric kept direction with a lot of, I think, with the city of keeping everybody kind of on track and answering questions, and he had a vast amount of knowledge. But that failure is on your shoulders. When you come to a meeting, I was told a couple days afterwards that it was in the agenda packet. You all get the agenda packet. I'm on a distribution list, I see it. I didn't read it. It's not my duty to read it, but it is your duty to. So I would remind you of that. Relative to the agenda notation about people giving their name and address in public comment, I'd like to address something Angie Arp said. She mentioned the concern for people attempting to speak for all citizens. You brought that up to me in September of 2023 when you responded to an email when I had asked you for a list of something that you had mentioned in a meeting. And you wrote me back and you said that you had people telling you that there were concerns that people were getting up, and I think you were alluding to me, that I was speaking for all citizens. So first I'll go on the record and say I've never gotten up here and said I'm representing all the citizens or speaking for them. And you should know me well enough to know that I speak for myself. You used to call me and say, you need to say this, you need to say that. I don't do that for people because just like in our government group on Facebook, I have to take responsibility for what my name says. That's why you don't see me called some fictitious character or some kind of group name. I don't slander people like that. I don't use being an anonymous character to go after individuals. So there is a huge difference in being knowledgeable of who your citizens are and an outright attempt at intimidation to people who want to speak and possibly say something that you don't like. With regard to lawsuits that Chris brought up, I would just like to say that perhaps if the council would judge themselves with the same level of judgment that they have directed at other individuals, instead of sweeping things under the carpet like the Wojon tapes and comments that were made therein, just like Ginger mentioned, we would not be at the place that we're at right now. And that is truly unfortunate. I had such high hopes for this group, and I will tell you that I have never been so disappointed with the group. I am glad the focus has been initiated to the First Amendment rights of individuals. Hopefully all individuals will be given an equal chance to speak.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, anyone? Okay, all material has been covered, so I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Meeting is adjourned.
No need for executive session.
No need for executive, no.
Thank you.